Hey guys, welcome to a new sub-series of my Empyrion Galactic survival. This is in the Reforged Eden mod, and we'll be designing a ship to use on the Reforged Eden server. There are a lot of things added in Reforged Eden. As a mod, it adds hundreds, perhaps thousands of new planets and POIs. We have been rushing the game so hard, and I haven't had a chance to look at any of these. We have created this particular ship. It's a blueprint ship called the Helios, and most of our server now lives and operates out of it. And I would like to design a ship that can fit through this back door, as the top deck is completely taken up by ships right now. So I need a ship that's 9x5 and can land here in this completely open area that I will be using as a ground expedition ship. So in order to do that, I'm going to need a number of design constraints. First off, it has to be 9x5, which means if we're going to build it, it's probably going to be long. Since only miniguns and lasers can fire to engage ground defenses, we're going to be spending a lot of time adding miniguns and lasers, probably the maximum number that I can add. So that's a design constraint. We also are going to want a maximum armor belt. So that's combat steel, forward and down. So this ship will be used to land on planets and engage in defenses down there. So given the way that the AI responds to attacks, we're going to create a decoy generator in the front. So it's just going to be a small thing. It's going to attract enemy attention more than any other object on the ship. We're going to encase it in steel, and then the rest of the ship's going to be built behind that. So if the shields go down, the first thing targeted is the decoy in the armor belt wrap. And that armor will need to primarily be on the forward side of the ship that's pointed towards the enemy, and the underside, since I'm firing down. We're also going to want a warp drive, the biggest shield I can get, a pentaxid tank to fuel those things, generators, ammunition space, landing gear, and then things to support my ground expedition. So medical stations, a repair station for my gear, a fridge. People like to join me while I do things. So passenger seats, a few of them, and a teleporter, so that if someone wants to join me midway through, they can teleport to my ship. It also needs to not use any auxiliary CPU and be able to fly in a 4-gravity world or 4Gs. So these are all of my design constraints. It's going to be a tight build, probably. I almost certainly won't be able to use the maximum number of guns, given everything else that I'm doing. But let's worry about getting a framework out now. So we're going to want carbon blocks, combat steel, a CV core. Sorry, I probably want to call it a starter. We're also going to need a core because I'm going to move the starter after we've built it. Generator. CV-based generator. So we're definitely going to need a regular small generator to attract attention, and then larger generators to fuel the ship later. We're also going to want advanced shield generator, pentaxid tank, warp drive, and get away with a regular warp drive. The reason for that being, this ship will only be deploying from another ship, so I don't need it to jump super far. And we'll get started from there. So let's level out. We got this. The other thing we're gonna need immediately is a multi-tool in order to clean up our mess. Multi-tool charge. So to start with, we want the core to be completely clean, and this is going to roughly be the front of our ship. I'm going to start by putting down steel block, and this is the regular generator, right? This is our decoy generator. I did that wrong. There we go. We want to encase that in the combat steel. And since we need maximum armor in the down direction, we're just gonna go ahead and stick these on, but not that. Now, I haven't built a lot of ships in this game, so if you are a regular player or shipbuilder, you're probably dying in agony that I don't have symmetry mode on, and several other things, but I just want to explore what I can do here. Definitely going to want to put shielded thrusters on the nose of this thing. Sorry, unshielded thrusters on the nose of this thing, just so that I can... Thruster, capital thrusters... Well, just go ahead and put those on. Alright, so now the ship is going to act kind of like a hammer. There's going to be a long tail sweeping behind it, and these 4 thrusters are essentially going to keep it up in the air and keep the front side swinging around correctly due to the new physics engine. Can I remove this and still properly? Yes, I can. Okay. So the ship is currently 3 tall. I can only make it 2 more tall. So 1, 2. And this is going to be our gun belt here. Now I've got all these parts, but I think I want to do that last. I need to figure out... Well, no, let's... I'm just going to have to rebuild some stuff later. And maybe extend the ship out. It'll be kind of a pain, but I don't really know how much gun space I'm going to need, because I don't know what the CPU constraints are going to be like. I'm having a lot of trouble getting that to build. Let's just build it a little farther out. Then we're going to start with a second combat steel core. This will be to hold the critical parts. So, large generator in order to actually run the ship. Shield generator. That absolutely must be put on its side, or the ship isn't going anywhere. Doesn't break the upward direction. Taxa tank. And the warp drive. The last big problem. Okay. That should work. To an extent. And this will begin the crew compartment. Alright, so these are all extended outwardly. Let's start making cage back end of the ship. Doesn't need to be that thick. This one layer of combat steel should prevent most of the objects here from horrifyingly exploding. This is a problem. Shield generator's too high up. Needs to be one further down, and probably the warp generator will have to be moved as well. Now we can get a proper seal on the top. Oh, am I just not going to be able to fit this in with 3? How big is it? Shouldn't, if it's 5 tall. I have this less than 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I have a whole extra one to work with, so that's fine. This is our bottom. Now, there's a lot I could do here about like reshaping these blocks to not actually be blocks. You could shape them to look a lot cleaner. I'm not doing that because I'm not into that kind of fancy stuff, but it could be done. It's possible. And those fancy blocks have less armor rating as well. I'm looking for a ship that is functional more than anything else. Also, if you followed me for a while, you know I'm just not good at this aesthetic stuff. I like good looking things, I just don't know how to make them do that good. Making sure it's matching on both sides. Seems like. So we are separating things out here so an explosion in one chamber will not destroy things in the other chamber. It is going to heavily weigh our ship down, but the kind of things I'm using the ship to do will almost certainly result in some damage and or explosions. Attacking new, unknown content is usually a pretty good way to be surprised. Alright, so the armor sheathing looks like it's about done. Next we'll be looking at building a crew compartment, namely where I will sit and operate this vehicle from. So that should be 9 wide, which is the kind of interior space I'm going to have to work with. I think there's one more down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this material I'm working with right here is carbon composite. It's the lightweight use of choice, but I'm actually going to start sorry, I'm laughing. I must sound like a crazy person. I'm going to start using ammunition containers to act as the outside of the ship in order to grant me more storage space. I could have been doing this the whole time, but I kind of wanted some light level of armor along with the carbon composite. Ammunition containers have even less armor, but I need the storage space. I need the ability to fire weapons, and the back of the ship really should not be under threat. If that happens, I have a lot more problems than what I'm looking at. I should just trash most of this stuff since Now that it's down, I don't need it anymore. Excuse me. Container extenders, and I need ammunition controller. Perfect. I'm probably going to alternate layers like this. Because ammunition containers and container extenders cannot touch each other. So like a second set of these can't touch the first one. It confuses the game and neither of them will work. So we create overlapping barriers. Now this is going to be, even though it's not that deep, it should give us a good amount of space to work with. And let me figure out what I want to do. So inside, I'm going to want pilot seat and the core. Let's go ahead and put that core down. We need wireless. CV, control console, passenger seats, O2 station. Fuel tank I can put on the ceiling, probably. Medical. I'll need the 5 medical devices. Well, let me get some of this down. I'm gonna want it as small as possible. So I'll be piloting this vessel in third person, like this. You see, this is what we're looking at now. I'll be able to draw oxygen out with this. The O2 tank next to it. We'll stick this on the ceiling where it will be the least harmful to us. And there are 5 medical devices. Each perform a different function. So I'll be able to walk and or jump between them to get to all 5 of them, cram them all in there. I'm also going to want a repair station. Repair my items. What else did I have on the list? A fridge, of course, that makes sense. I'm gonna want to hold my food during transit. Putting it on the ceiling because I can access it remotely. I can still jump up there, and in 0G I can float up there. What else do I want? A teleporter. That's pretty big buy. And then for the final build, we're gonna turn the teleporter off. And we'll put a motion sensor in that will turn the craft shields off and turn the teleporter on whenever you're standing on it. Because you can't teleport out while the shields are on. Not well, I wouldn't ever teleport out because I'll be flying the ship back, but someone who had joined me mid-combat or mid-exploration might go home via it after they used it to come out with me. All right, so that covers those things. We're going to need CPU extensions now. CP. We need basic with extended. So here we go. Two, 3, 4. And that should bring me up to 2.1 million. Now I'm short on something. And what is it? CPU. Oh, it's probably I can fit a second extended. Yeah. Yep. There we go. I feel like that definitely seals this compartment in. Oh, I need a ventilator so that I can breathe inside the ship. I mean, I could just draw suit oxygen, but that's actually a major pain. And we need an armored doorway and ramps at the back, although I'm probably going to use my cool strategy, which I haven't seen on anybody else's ships yet, but not this one back here. It'll be recessed, which is fine. Several sets of landing gear. So some of these will need to go at the front. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure they're all on the same level. I think so. Up. We need this here, and we need elevator block. So these, it's hard to tell, but you can jump up and down. You can move any direction while you're inside these blocks. They are self-powered, even though I have a jetpack on right now. Maybe if I turn my jetpack off. Yes, as you can see. Oh, well, now I'm stuck floating in space forever. Get back in here and not fling myself into infinity. Yep, see, I can operate it even though I now can no longer move because my jetpack's off. So, when the ship's docked, you just jump up into this thing and let it carry you inside into this compartment, where you will then be safe forever, and nothing bad will ever happen to you. Let's group. We now need medium thrusters, maybe even bigger than medium. Put some advanced thrusters on the back, because I don't know how heavy this thing's going to be, and we can swap them up later if need be. These are quite big. Actually, I want them to be as outside as possible. This is going to take a time to disassemble, unfortunately. What is your... All right. That should last me until I start adding stuff. So these are going to lift me off the ground. Then I'm going to want side-to-side thrusters to let me turn. And then braking thrusters. And let's see what our profile looks like from there. Okay, so we can get up off the ground well, but turning and such, oh, roll is very good. We need a little bit more oomph at the front of the ship, and we could definitely use a lot more up thrust. So we're going to strategically stick thrusters. How did that do? We're up to 45. Great roll. Almost no down thrusts, which will probably help us with the turning. So let's make sure we've got some of that. They aren't in the best place in the world, but you really kind of want them to be at the front and back at the extremities of the craft. So maybe let's work them in back here as well. And a little something at the front. Still need a lot more side-to-side motion, huh? So it doesn't strafe well, but it can turn okay. You need 9 meters a second to get up off the ground, which means currently I can just barely handle lift up at 4 Gs, because that'll slightly break 10 meters a second. It'll be very slow. We'll take another look at it after we started adding guns, which is the main purpose of this gunship. So, laser turrets. We've got some space to work with. Should probably work with it. So the thing that concerns me is that these things will be great at firing forward and down, but not so good at firing forward. We can work with that, however. So let me make a something along the spine of the ship here. We're gonna make a second deck. Three. So we're gonna hang turrets upside down from this to fire forward and downwardly. And they'll also have pretty good side-to-side motion. Let's see how that works out. I'm not thrilled with that first spot. Okay, that's a good start. All right. We'll have to field test this, but it certainly seems like a functional design. I want to make them look the same on both sides, which means not messing up. This is the place. Mess up at. Oh, we're just a little bit too far back. Okay, we've got good CPU usage so far. Haven't gone overboard in any of the categories that normally overboardness is done in. So we might want to consider upgrading. It'll be pretty expensive to upgrade them. I need more weapons. I have a maximum limit on these things, right? 24. I got 4 on 4 places, so that's 16. So I have, what, 8 left? Certainly something we can do about that. Recess back. Like an underside one. This one doesn't perfectly fit design constraint, but can have one that just kind of shoots in a downward angle. That leaves me 4 more of these to place. Oops. That was not my intention. I accidentally upgraded that block rather than remove it. Yeah, it's starting to slow the ship down in every direction. So I think we need to rip out some of these small thrusters and start replacing them with mediums all around. Actually, I'm gonna have to pull this center block out to make this work. Problem is that this particular one is such a huge upshift, it's very difficult to fit it anywhere. Prefer to get that over 100 meters a second. I also need to be talking about miniguns now, because I think I've got max number of laser turrets. Projectile. Two hanging out here. That's low. Can't go out any further than this line. Something to be said for adding guns down here, however. See if we can move that one more forward. Oh, I can't block the outgoing thruster. That is a problem. So I will just have to have the guns crammed up in here, and they're just going to have trouble acquiring targets. And it does give me a little bit more firepower. Move this one back. Without covering any of those guns. Alright, so it takes, what, 5-6 times as long to stop as it does to go forward? That's not so good either. We kind of need to boost that rate of braking. Especially because you're going to want to slide backwards out of range. I could definitely put them down this groove. This is ridiculous. Definitely taking away from the fact that there is a armored core of a generator up front that is supposed to be taking all the shots with all these critical components, but at least the generator will remain after everything else pops. Pretty good on CPU. Good stopping power. We can get up and down. I guess I want to see how she handles. Let's start throwing things away. I also need to come up with a name based on corporate buzzwords. This particular ship. It's a tradition of our server's Geomatic Corporation to have ships named after the corporate buzzwords. The last ship I designed, which was kind of similar to this one, except with way less engines and way fewer guns, was called the Profit Margin class. We've got the Big Data, we've got Bleeding Edge, Pain Points. Where? Oh, it's because I'm not on all, because what I need is Refined Pentaxid. Oh, 2. I need hydrogen cells. Let's start throwing all that stuff in to turn the ship on. Guess we'll see how she handles. Oh, I need a different kind of O2. I need the thing that's just called oxygen. Okay, I need 15, 30, and 175 rounds. Sorry, 15, 30, and Mark 200s. But then I'm going to need to create another subgroup. Well, maybe not. Everything here is supposed to take on ground forces. So, Predator. Take mounted weapon. See if she fits, and then we'll see how she moves. I don't know about this one, Scoobs. Why are you rolling? Go forward. I might have to manually open that door, lock it open. Oh, is it too tall? I think it's too tall. I can come up a little bit more. Okay. How do I lock it open? Don't close. Feels like I might need another person here to do this particular one. Let's see. Just stay open. Nope. Whatever that is, I just made it worse. The motion sensor is... No! Try this instead. A force field. That is 9 by 5. Might take multiple emitters to do. 3 by 9. About 1 by 9. Can you actually pass through these things? Nope. That's a problem. Well, alternatively, I can move the door forward. Can't move the door forward. Why will the door only fit back here? Is there ceiling stuff preventing it from... How weird. Let's see if I can fly in anyway. I can figure something else out afterwards. it's not really necessary to land the ship back here. I mean, we can make space somewhere. I just thought it was an interesting design challenge. It has made this ship look horrifying, though. Absolutely horrifying. I seem to be getting blacked out. So 180 degrees. Take a look at what's stopping me from getting in here. Yep, even with 5 to work with, can't get in. I have to make it 4, which is going to remove too much. Alright, let's see if we can find bad guys to kill. We need to test its combat effectiveness against POIs and such, and that's now occurring to me. I do not have a long-range radar aboard. Means the ship is not going to do very well. At finding targets. Why is the inside of the ship? Okay, now it's not 800 degrees. Not the best handling I've ever seen. No targets at all? Is there nothing down here? Let's see if we can jump to another system and get a look at our combat performance. I might have to put a base down and then intentionally summon a base attack. That's possible. This thing looks so bad. I'm sorry. It's so difficult to look at. It is terrible. All right. Medium difficulty. Let's see if we can get in a fight here. Oh, right. Oh, there we go. Hard difficulty. Cool. No enemy contacts, huh? Charging our shields overloads the generator by a huge amount. That is something we're probably going to want to Where did I put that ammunition? Alright, let's stop here real quick. We need to make a couple of key changes. We're going to need a second generator. Oh, and the shield has to be off to do that. Should give me a lot of play there. We need 15. Probably put them in the wrong ship's bay. You know what a ship with this mission profile probably needs is a bunch of sentry guns. Alright, the ship is no longer overloading. Nothing down here, huh? Gonna be awfully hard to test this against POIs if there are no POIs. However, let's just test general combat effectiveness. Back of the ship. Enormous, huge amount of dark camper here. And then oh, how do I switch to survival mode? You know, interestingly, none of my guns are loaded, so they're all gonna load at once. First time I get into combat. I still need to come up with a name for this class. Something very ugly, useless. So far it has failed to hit almost every design constraint. How about holistics? Let's serve 0. Oh, there they are. Oh, he was demolished sufficiently quickly. Well, if I'm right on top of them, they're super easy to defeat. I sure showed them. So the issue is they're killing these guys instantly. Which, you know, isn't a bad problem to have. They're in that base killing a bunch of dudes. Oh, they can fire it at a pretty wide angle, apparently. My ability to hit up top is very bad. Alright, let's see about down. Oh yeah, the front of the ship can still target at some pretty weird angles. Not bad. Back of the ship though. So I got a pretty, was it like a 40-degree angle swing? Well, is it effective? Hard to say. Oh. I guess I'm about to learn how good this thing is at taking out POIs by blowing up my own base. It's gonna drill right through the base until it hits the generators. Well, friends, I designed something. It can't fit where I wanted it to fit. It honestly looks horrifying. It can operate in multiple Gs, though, at maximum speed, too. Not bad. Certainly not the worst. And its carrying capacity is... nothing to write home about. Thank you for joining me. We will see more about the Holistics class in action on future episodes where I actually go exploring places once I build this on the main server. Thanks for joining me.